Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. Don't expect, like the other Jim Cornette videos, for me to yell, scream. Don't even expect me to necessarily, throughout the video, reflect on politics outside of the topic in itself, and maybe, a couple of comparisons here and there just to make my point a little bit more effective. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's different when it was RJ City, because who the fuck is RJ City? Jim Cornette is a legend, though. And I swear, man, for a guy who loves wrestling so much, he puts politics over his wrestling. He puts politics over his own friends. It's crazy. Even politics over some of his biggest creations. You guys know that he is one of the masterminds behind the Kane gimmick, right? He is one of the people that brought Kane into the business when he wrestled for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And just to see him say these things and just be so out of pocket is just, it's crazy. Here, check out this real quick. This is a tweet. Now, this is a reference of Undertaker and Kane promoting Donald Trump, and Taker promoting Donald Trump for his podcast that has everybody on the left side of the aisle in professional wrestling just up in arms. Jim Cornette says, another former great wrestler on the list of alien pod people duped by the world's most repugnant con man. Mark and Glenn, Kane and Undertaker, you made it this long with everyone admiring you. Then in the end, you ruined your reputations and tried to destroy the country along with them. I'm ashamed for you. And just to kind of bring it on home, I would just like to say these are some of the stuff that Jim Cornette was retweeting and reposting. This guy, I'm not going to say his name, you can look it up on Jim Cornette's thread, and he just did this an hour ago as of this recording. Undertaker and Kane are both living proof that people who once made fans love everything they did can easily be conned, corrupted, and manipulated into buying the incessant lies from the world's biggest con man and traitor to this country. And they pretty much added Batista and Jim Cornette. Another person says, mind you, these are all tweets that Jim Cornette reposted. Undertaker, my choice is not to vote for a bankrupting slumlord, felon found guilty by peers on 34 counts, proven liar, and monster found liable of sexual assault that led an assault on our capital. You have to be an amoral piece of shit to support that mishappen con man. And look, everybody has their opinions, but there are certain things that I can just never see myself doing, personally. Number one, ever turning my back on my friends or my family because of their politics. I don't know. I feel like call me crazy, most normal human beings wouldn't do something so disgusting, so heinous. You know what I mean? You don't associate yourself with your friends and family if they do something that is actually amoral, something that is gravely immoral. Murder, rape, anything having to do with a child that's disgusting or negative. That's what I would consider amoral. Not someone disagreeing with me on my politics and pretending their side of the aisle hasn't done anything repugnant or horrible or disgusting. Never mind the fact, and this is just me talking for myself, I've been getting into a lot of arguments as of late with people on my own side, the Republican side. Because nowadays, even though I'm still considered on the right, I'm not moving towards the left, God forbid, hell no. But at the same time though, I'm right there on the right, but I'm not all the way full on, isolationist and shit like that. But my whole thing has always been, okay, in the end of the day, my ideology and how I feel about the world, I'm not going to suggest that you should follow my prescription. You may have your reasonings, I have my reasons. We could drink a beer and we could talk about it, or we could say fuck it and just keep going on with our own merry way. I love, personally, Mick Foley. He has said some dumb shit in the past. Obviously, the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, disgusting, misinformed, just terrible stuff. I still think Mick Foley is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and he's in my top 5. I am a diehard Foley mark. I go back and I watch his promos for fun. I talked about this yesterday, Batista. I don't care that Batista likes Kamala Harris. I still like Batista. I still go back, and some of my favorite stuff that happened in my childhood was via Batista, especially during this Evolution run, especially during that initial turn on Triple H, especially, ironically enough, when he feuded with The Undertaker. Those are some of my favorite moments in professional wrestling. I'm not going to just say I don't want to watch that, or I don't want to associate myself with that, or Dave Batista isn't an awesome wrestler because he likes Kamala Harris. That's fucking stupid. And it just makes matters much worse because I don't understand Jim Cornette. Like, ignore the friends and, you know, how he's constantly talked about The Undertaker and Kane, and that he's just willing to just say, nope, I didn't mean any of that. I was wrong about all of that simply because of their politics. The fact that he's actually reposting people's tweets, shitting on The Undertaker and Kane, people who I thought he was friends with. It's actually heartbreaking. It's actually heartbreaking. It's really sad to see someone actually put themselves in a position like that. But it's just the people that Jim Cornette sides with, in spite of that. That's the part that kills me the most, that I don't understand. Like, the people that consistently go after you, like this guy right here, I'm just gonna say his name, one of the people that you reposted, his name is Kareem A. Harper. I look through his tweets and I see a guy who's clearly, like, no exaggeration, obviously not only is he a socialist, which I guess Jim Cornette sides with that also. That's what he said when he was on Cenk Uyghur's Young Turks back in 2009, that he's a fiery, breathing progressive. He labels himself a democratic socialist. That's not me, that's his words. But you look through his tweets and you see everything that he promotes. These are things that Jim Cornette has made fun of in the past, or at the very least has been called out for unfairly and misaligned with. I've defended Jim Cornette in regards to this. People have called Jim Cornette racist, as you can tell by the name, but also some of his posts. I'm pretty sure Kareem is one of those people on the ideologically driven left, right? When it comes to identity politics, obviously. I'm pretty sure, just going off of, all I have is just, his tweets. I'm pretty sure one can argue that he might be a black supremacist. It is what it is. But these are the kind of people who just last week were going after Jim Cornette and calling him racist by taking what he said out of context to make it sound as if he was a racist. And then when you defend Jim Cornette, because trust me, people who usually defend Jim Cornette on this position are typically people on the right-hand side of the aisle, because they're a lot more nuanced on a situation like this. And I'm not to say there aren't any people on the left who aren't doing it. I'm just saying, per ratio, I'm pretty sure ideologically wise, there are more people on the right defending Jim Cornette on this issue than people on the left. We defended Jim Cornette. People like me defended Jim Cornette against these people that he's reposting in order to go after his friends. The LGBTQ people, they aren't too fond of Jim Cornette, right? I just don't get it. How, like, you can have your ideology, you can have your beliefs. I just don't get how not only going against your friends and family to side with people who are actively trying to cancel you to this very day. It goes even further past that, because again, it's just so concerning to see someone just this dogmatic. Jim Cornette talks about all the things that he hates from Trump, right? Well, 2 questions, man. In regards to Trump and all the things that you said that he did, never mind the positions that you're taking that primarily comes from Democrat operatives setting up the perimeters to make this effective, like the 34 counts you're talking about. I mean, he got convicted in New York, sent by the DOJ via Joe Biden. What are you talking about? This wasn't his peers. These are his enemies who labeled him this way. Who, when Joe Biden was in a similar position, they didn't do anything to him. Nor would they. Because it's the DOJ. But just ignoring that real quick, because, again, this guy, he's so misinformed with the things that he talks about. Jim, all the things you accuse Trump of, how many stories have you told us in the past? How many stories have we heard from your friends in the past that, honestly, some of them arguably should be in prison to this very day for some of the stories that we've heard from old heads and, stories that you told, stories that we heard from people that were friends with you. I think they did a hell of a lot worse than sexual assault. Some of them drugged women and had sex with them. Right? Some of them actually beat the dog shit out of women. These are some of your friends. Do we talk about that? Huh? Do we talk about the amount of H-bombs, drugs dropped in drinks from your friends, from your colleagues? Because I guess guilty by association, right? That's what you're saying about Undertaker and Kane. So clearly we can do the same thing to you. Guilty by association, right? How many of your friends have done deplorable things that you have told stories over the years that they have spoken upon over the few years that you just look a blind eye to when it's convenient, right? Grab them by the pussy. I can't stress how many stories I've heard from Jim Cornette and his friends. And personally, I think they're funny stories. I don't have a problem with it, but that's the inconsistency of some people nowadays who just can't take politics and just look at it from a policy standpoint and align yourself with the policies. Don't align yourself with the figurehead who is pushing out the policy, because they are deplorable people. These are politicians, left or right. These are all disgusting people for the most part. That includes Trump. I don't give a fuck about Trump. What I do care about in the end of the day, though, is, oh, wow, he's likely to make my grocery bill a hell of a lot cheaper. He's likely to make my gas bill a hell of a lot cheaper. Okay, he's likely to make the country a little bit more safer compared to what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are doing currently at the moment. I'm not saying this because, well, I don't have anything to have proof of. I'm going off of his first run and I'm looking at Kamala and Joe's second run. That's my thought process. I don't care about Trump. Why? He doesn't pump my gas. He doesn't make sure that my kid is going to sleep. What I care about is, what are your policies you're going to put in place that's going to make my life easier to get around? That's going to make my paycheck a little bit more heftier. And these people, man, these people, they got to take this certain kind of position in order, because it's almost like a religion. It's almost like a religion. You go against the religion, and and it's funny because it's Jim Cornette, who's, from my understanding, an atheist, and he acts more like a religious person on the left than I've ever seen anyone religious to their actual faith. But then it goes a step further. It's not even talking about the policies that are being instituted, and it's not even necessarily talking about all the things in regards to Jim Cornette and everybody who's trying to cancel him, who's on his side. Not even just talking about duping your friends and letting them go and doing all of this. Not even talking about necessarily the things that you are aligned with, mostly from your own podcast. Seems more on a conservative bend narrative-wise than anything else that I've ever heard, as far as how I talk about professional wrestling, as far as how you talk about professional wrestling, because you're a traditionalist. But this is just flat out, blatantly, just definitively fucking crazy. Who does this? No normal, sane person does this. We get crazy when it comes to professional wrestling. We yell and scream and we say these things because it's fun. Like it's just fun. It's frustration that you legitimately feel about the product, but you jumping on a video and being able to yell and scream and say cursing words and get edgy and shit like that, it's fun. It's not fun when it's political though. It's not. Because no matter what side you're on, people have their specific reasonings as to why they feel the way they do. See, I can look at professional wrestling and I can say objectively why this match right here sucks. And I could tell you about things and I could prove things objectively by looking at metrics and tell you why this is the path you should be going into. Not doing exactly this, but this is why this is the objective path that you should be going into and not consistently doing this. With politics, that's not the same. Politics is defined by nuance. My reasoning for why I'm voting for Donald Trump has nothing to do with the next person's reason as to why they're voting for Kamala Harris. I can say all day that I think this about Kamala Harris, that I think that about Kamala Harris, but that's my personal reasons. You have your personal reasons. I'm not going to say that you're a detestable person because I don't know your position to be able to judge you like that. All I'm saying is, why are people bad for liking or suggesting their politics when you don't even know their reasoning? You keep aligning people with Trump, and you're saying things like you are co-signing a person who is this. But how disgusting is that? You don't know why I'm voting for Trump. You don't know my circumstance. You don't know my position to know why I'm voting for Trump. You don't know my position in life versus what Trump is saying that he wants to do versus what Kamala is saying that she wants to do, and me picking who I like based off of who's going to make my life easier. You just outright say that I support January 6th. You say outright that I support sexual assault. You say outright that I like this and I like that because I vote for Trump. Never mind the fact that I vote for Trump because of the policies that he's going to make my life a lot better. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And it's like he talks as if everybody on the Democratic Party is just angels. That's the crazy. He talks as if they're all angels. He talks as if none of them lie. If anybody on the right side of the aisle did something like this, I'd be just as upset. Because it's crazy. It's ludicrous. And to take all that animosity and to turn on your friends like that, it's nothing more than sociopathic. It's nothing more than sociopathic. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like I said, this was more of a coming to Jesus moment. What more do you want me to say about Jim Cornette? He has his beliefs, but it's pure insanity to take your beliefs and push away so many people to align with people who want to piss on your grave. And if for nothing else, when convenient, they use you also to push their agenda, saying to themselves that, wow, we can't wait till he dies so we can piss on his grave. Let's get as much as we can get out of him and then piss on his grave. And it's all like, all you have to do is just believe in your politics and keep it to yourself and vote however you want to vote without ostracizing everybody around you for not believing the things that you believe. I guess we're two different people, man. Guess we're two different people. Don't be like a Jim Cornette. All my friends are Democrats. My entire family is Democratic. I'm the odd one out who's the Republican. Never will I turn my back on my friends. I'm about to go to my grandmother's house to go say happy birthday to her. She's a full-on Democrat. Nor would they turn their back on me. And they probably align a hell of a lot more with Jim Cornette than they do with me. And they will never turn their back on me. Because I love them and they love me. But apparently politics has made it where you forget that, don't you? Don't be a Jim Cornette. Be a better person. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Deuces, P. Ice.